What's happening? This is your girl Megan. Welcome to the HoodAstroQueen to all of my returning subscribers. But if this is your first time on my channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. And we're on our way to our first 1,000 subscribers. And I'm going to do a giveaway and all that jazz. So let's go ahead and make it happen, y'all. We are so close. And I want to give a shout out to all of my newer subscribers. Thank you guys so much. It's such a humbling experience to know that you enjoy my content. I love each and every last one of you guys. Old subscribers, new subscribers, future subscribers. You watching this who might not even subscribe. You might just click on, go about your day. I love you too, baby. But since you done gave me my view, you might as well hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? So, I know I've been gone for a minute. I had to take some time to really tend to my mental health because those of you all who have been following me from day one, y'all know that I deal with bipolar disorder. So there are times when I am going through like my hypomanic phase, which I'm like very enthusiastic is the word about like working and doing things. And then sometimes I just hit like a major depression and I don't feel like going anywhere. I don't feel like doing anything. I literally have to like peel myself out of bed to like get up and interact with the rest of the world. And I just haven't, I've been in a really big funk. I haven't been in the mood. And I always say whenever Sagittarians in general, like we lose our optimism, it gets real bad. We can get in a very sticky place. And I've just been in a very sticky place, to be quite frank. And I'm not really back at like my 100%, but people always say, you know, just get up, move your body, and eventually your mind will follow. So I'm hoping that will be the case. And then besides, there's so much stuff that has taken place, so much great content, right, that we can go ahead and sink our teeth into. And one of those stories being this whole third trimester Tristan, and his name Tristan third trimester debacle. So, okay. So I'm pretty sure you guys know, allegedly, it came to light that Tristan and Kylie Jenner's best friend Jordan were at a party together, cozying up with one another. Some people are saying that they had sex, even though Jordan has since gone on to Jada Smith's, is it a podcast? Red Table Talks, and she's put forth her side of the story, and she claims that it was a kiss, and you know, there were certain inappropriate things that took place, but now Khloe and Kim and the rest of the, you know, Kardashian clan have completely sworn off Jordan. Everybody hates her. You know, they're supposedly beefing. They've exiled her from the island. But I mean, me personally, I really think it's staged. That's just me knowing what the Kardashians are all about. So I try not to feed into all that is like the Kardashians too much. I mean, that's just a lot of celebrities as well when it comes to a lot of these stunts. But, you know, I thought this would be a very interesting segue into Tristan Thompson and just who he is as a person, kind of figuring out some of his, you know, what makes him tick and why is he the way that he is. And so real quick, the tea is that before Khloe, he was with some other girl who just so happened to be named Jordan also. And she was 6 months pregnant with his baby, okay? And in her third trimester, hence third trimester Tristan, he up and leaves her for Miss Khloe, okay? And now he and Khloe are together, and then Khloe gets pregnant. And then in Khloe's third trimester, he doesn't necessarily leave her, but he literally like does everything except that. Like he's in public cheating on her. People catch him on video surveillance, making out with women, going in and out of hotels and clubs, almost to the point where it's like, is this man trying to cheat on her? Like, is he trying to get her to break up with him? Like, what woman stays with the man who's doing all of these things? Like, this nigga is crying for help because, like, I'm confused. Like, girl, He clearly wants you to set him free. Release him. Hashtag free Tristan. Free third trimester. No, I'm just kidding. Because it just, all jokes aside, he gets no sympathy from me, okay? Because he's still a dog ass, fuck ass nigga, and that's just the real tea. But with all of that being said, in addition to me getting a request to do his chart, I was just really intrigued by him as a person, and I wanted to take a deeper dive into just what the fuck is going on here. So without further ado, let's get started, okay? So, third trimester Tristian was born March 13th, 1991 in Toronto, Canada. Oh, I didn't know he was from Canada. I don't even know why I thought he was from like Los Angeles or something like that. Like, I didn't know he was from like not America. Interesting. So, he's a Pisces sun, with his sun being in the 22nd degree of Pisces. That number 22 deals with either like issue to where one must proceed it with caution, somebody being controlled, or somebody doing the controlling, which is something, it's a theme, that control element, right? Manipulation kind of element is something that I see just reoccurring throughout his chart. So that's something to take into consideration. And then also Pisces people in general tend to be very secretive. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And just my personal opinion, Pisces men are some bitch ass, hoe ass, pussy ass niggas. My experience. Now, if you're a Pisces male watching this, I love you. Don't jump in my comment section. How you gonna say I ain't no? I'm not no, or my son a Pisces. Listen, this is my experience. Okay, there are always exceptions to the rule, but seeing that he's a Pisces, it's like yeah, it puts certain things into perspective for me. His moon is in the 20th degree of Aquarius, and now his moon happens to be conjoined to his Saturn. And this aspect can bring about a sense of emotional distance from like the mother, somebody who is emotionally closed off, somebody who has particularly low self-esteem, anxiety, somebody who probably grew up in a situation, especially with that Aquarius element, because Aquarius is naturally one of the air signs that are especially known for being emotionally, I guess you could, I don't want to say stoic, but there's this sense of like they're not really hot and heavy kind of emotionally charged people, right? And when you add that Saturn conjoined to the moon, in the sign of Aquarius, these people can be very emotionally immature, maybe is a good word. And they tend to not really know how to express themselves. They tend to, this in worst case scenarios, this could lead to certain elements of self-destruction. These people can be downright emotionally just imbalanced, emotionally unstable. This can give way, especially that Saturn. Anytime you have Saturn in close proximity to like the moon or making harsh aspects, or even in this case, conjunctions, because conjunctions can go either way as far as like being positive or negative. These people can absolutely be plagued with mental problems. Believe you me. So I thought that was very telling. His Saturn is conjoined to the fixed star Getty at the 3rd degree of Aquarius. And well, number one, Aquarius deals with friendships. It deals with, your institutions. It can deal with organizations, your peers, right? And so the first thing that I saw was this signifying him, especially being conjoined to his moon, because your moon does represent your public reputation, your profile. So somebody who is known for dealing with like highly affluent, reputable women. And it's opposing his Jupiter, which, Leo is all about celebrity. So this directly deals with him fucking with celebrity women, specifically the Kardashians. But Giddy also deals with somebody who, at the very worst, like worst case scenario, never marries, or somebody who just generally has a difficult time with being monogamous or in committed relationships. And I mean, if they do, this could be relationships that are platonic. So marrying somebody that you don't really emotionally feel tied to, but you kind of do so out of convenience. And this could be, because in his chart, I see it going two different ways now. And that's not to say two things can't be true at once. So I see it going in the direction of him marrying women, or not marrying women, but dealing with women on the basis of like achieving notoriety, status, financial security. But then also he has certain indicators of in his chart of him being attracted to more than just women. Yeah, if you know what I mean. If you know what I'm saying, okay? But also, Saturn in conjoined to Giddy can produce somebody who is prone to public criticism by way of their relationships, somebody who benefits a lot actually from influential friends. There goes that element of Aquarius. Like I said, the 11th house dealing with friendships, organizations, things of that nature. People who can benefit from the people that they date, right? And at the very worst, this could deal with somebody who is very, very self-destructive. And it reinforces this theme of emotional imbalance here. So there's that. His moon and Saturn opposing his Jupiter produces a few things actually. So this can point towards his popularity. Anytime you have moon in aspects, even if it's the harsher aspects of Jupiter, this could be somebody who is highly popular, very charismatic. You see a lot of celebrities, you know, who have that configuration, some configuration of moon and Jupiter also. But then these people can be very, like I said, charming and just have this kind of star je ne sais quoi about them. These people could be super suave. But then also this can produce addictions. This can produce somebody who is addicted to feeling good, particularly, especially with that influence of Jupiter. Jupiter enhances and enlarges everything that it touches. So a lot of these people tend to be slaves to their own pleasure or slaves to their own compulsive urges, which is very interesting because sex it fits into that category, right? And it could actually point towards Tristian having an inability to control himself around women. It can point towards him being a sex addict. It can point towards him being, it could actually point towards him being susceptible to various other addictions as well, but particularly amongst women, and then finding himself in situations to where he's attracting a lot of attention. And in particular, that Jupiter opposing moon can bring about somebody who often, it's like they have no private life. Like a lot of the details of their private life are often exposed. And these people tend to feel like they have nothing left for themselves. And, you know, if they do anything shady, any transgressions, it's quickly aired out and they're quickly caught on Front Street. But then also this aspect can produce somebody who finds their privacy being invaded by partners, by women, especially with that Leo element present, which Leo represents the entertainment industry, media. Like, so this could be Tristian literally like everything that he goes through in his personal life being put up for public consumption, and then doing so by the will of his partner, which is interesting because it kind of reinforces this theme, you know, that everybody kind of suspects as far as the Kardashians being in on this elaborate plot. Like every little thing that happens to them somehow makes its way, you know, to headlines, or it makes its way to the press when it's time for their show to air, or when it's, you know, when it comes down to another season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So this could be Tristian feeling like every little thing that happens in his relationship, like Chloe and her family are just in on the deal, right? They're exploiting and they're prophetizing his, is that the right word? Prophetizing? Y'all know what I mean. His personal business and putting it up on display, him kind of feeling powerless in that respect. So I thought that was a very interesting aspect. And this also creates somebody who benefits from travel, like traveling foreign lands, which is why finding out that he's from Canada, and I think I read somewhere that his family is originally from Jamaica. So either way, if he's from Canada or Jamaica, whatever, it makes sense, you know, that Jupiter is all about travel, all about going to foreign lands. So this could be somebody who benefits immensely from that. And then this aspect can also indicate a certain, especially Jupiter Saturn aspects can point towards a lack of emotional intelligence, kind of reinforcing this inability to really be in sync with what they're feeling at the time and being able to properly translate that into like the outside world. So a lot of the time their emotions kind of, they how they're feeling and how they express themselves are two completely different things, or they can get frustrated in their inability to, express themselves and act out and all kind of shit. So that, I thought that was very interesting as well. And then Jupiter opposing Saturn produces somebody who tends to lack a lot of self-discipline, reinforcing this theme of him being a slave to his impulses. Whenever he's triggered, whenever he's around women, he's around his vices, he literally is like, he's not able, no matter what he has going for himself at the moment, be it a marriage, be it a girlfriend at home in her third trimester of pregnancy, he can't resist the urge to act off of his lower nature. His Mercury and Venus are both in the sign of Aries. And this is another red flag because it points towards somebody who has issues with their impulses. So this is reinforcing the theme of him acting off of impulse, not being able to control his urges. Aries is also a very sexual sign, a very kind of primal and just very much so into pleasures, right? And I think I did on my Mars and Aries and even Venus and Aries series, I noted where a lot of people with these placements tend to be they can come off as hypersexual, and they can even come off as shallow because they can be very drawn to the physicality of people, right? So in other words, if they're in a room with somebody who looks good, who they deem to be attractive, they want you. They want you right then, right there. And I mean, the same would apply to Tristan. And like I said, it's very interesting that he has these placements. But then particularly his Mercury is in the 3rd degree of Aries, which is 1 degree off from the fixed star Deneb Catus. And this deals with somebody who has secret love affairs. So, and this could point towards him being involved in a variety of different affairs as it pertains to his relationship. So this reinforces him being a serial cheater, somebody who is not capable of putting their dick in their pants and keeping it there. But then furthermore, relating it back to this Jordan thing, I would not be surprised if he and Jordan actually had a situation going on. And even if they didn't, it's highly likely that he had something going on with somebody, because that's just what this placement produces. And then with his Mercury, like I said, being conjoined to his Venus, it's actually squaring his Chiron. And peep this, y'all. His Chiron is in Cancer. Cancer is the natural ruler of the 4th house, which deals with the home and the mother. So this points towards him having issues with women that most likely stem from the relationship with the mother, which his moon Saturn combo kind of gave that away to me. But this reinforces that there is this inherent issue, this problem with women. Soldier Boy has this Chiron placement also. So you tend to find guys with their Chiron and Cancer tend to have, like I said, issues with the mom or abandonment issues. There's an issue or there's some type of disconnect, even if their mother was in their life, but it's almost like they have there's a disconnect in how they perceive their mother or how they receive nurturing from their mother, right? Because just because the mom is there doesn't necessarily mean she's nurturing. So these niggas are plagued with all kinds of mommy issues, and surprise, surprise, it tends to kind of trickle down into your relationships and how you deal with women. So his Mercury and Venus squaring his Chiron can absolutely deal with abandonment issues, issues with women. But then also I found it to be interesting because his Mercury also represents siblings, with it being in Aries and squaring his Chiron. This could also deal with a sibling with a disability, a sibling who is ill in some way. And ironically enough, I researched, just doing my homework, and I found that he has a youngest, like one of his youngest brothers has some type of either epilepsy or some type of disability to where like he experiences daily seizures, right? And they ended up starting an organization in his honor. So I thought that was very interesting, very interesting. But then could also point towards sibling rivalry. And funny enough, he has other siblings, at least one other sibling who does play basketball as well. I'm not really sure about the specifics of it all. So once again, feel free to fact check me if you know anything different. But I do know for a fact he has other brothers who are involved in basketball on some level. So this could point towards there being a sense of jealousy, competitiveness, either on his end or on his brother's end. I'm suspecting maybe the brother's end because we don't even know who the fuck his brother. Like, who the fuck is Tristan Thompson's brother? And we only know Tristian as because of Chloe. So, I mean, you know, he clearly lucked up in that regard, right? Sugar honey iced tea. His Mars is in the sign of Gemini. It's actually at the, what is this, the 20th degree of Gemini? Hold on, let me check. It's at the 19th degree of Gemini, which is actually 1 degree off from the fixed star Bellatrix. And Bellatrix, when it's conjoined to Mars, deals with the suffering of like love, somebody who goes through a lot of upheavals and disappointments in their relationships by way of their own discretions, their own infidelities, their own inability to restrain their feelings and their urges. So boom, there's that. So once again, reinforces him being a serial cheater, somebody who can't control himself. But then that Gemini energy also, Gemini Mars, it's all about duplicity. These people are easily bored. I mean, it's the perfect astrological storm to create a cheater because Gemini literally gets bored easily. So these people can be here, there, everywhere. They want to be stimulated. But then it also raises the question of his sexuality because Gemini deals with being duplicit, right? It's the sign of duplicity. And then Mars is the planet of your sexual urges, your sexual desires. So that Gemini energy can go both ways. And then I also forgot to mention with his Venus and his Mercury being in Aries, squaring his Cancer Chiron. I mean, that could actually reinforce him feeling like there's kind of like a, what do you call it? Cognitive dissonance. Somebody who is attracted to male energy, or there being this kind of what do you call it? Imbalance between the male energy and female energy. Somebody who is very much attracted to This could be somebody who is attracted to men. I'm going to just state it plain like that. Like, that's just, I'm just calling it how I see it. Just calling it how I see it in this chart. I don't know anything about Tristan. I don't know him as a person. I haven't necessarily heard any rumors, but these aspects are painting a different picture. That's all I'm saying. So this is not to say that he's not attracted to women, because obviously he's a serial cheater and he has an issue with keeping his dick in his pants. But now I will say, just putting astrology aside, from personal experience, men who do have issues with being like hypersexual, and maybe not putting astrology aside, because I think Trey Songz is another person who is very hypersexual, but when you look into their chart, they show inclinations of swinging both ways. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, I have this theory, and this is just Megan's theory off the books. It doesn't have to be, I'm not saying that this is the God, honest truth, the gospel, but my theory on men who are like very, very sexual, hypersexual, is that at some point they had to have fuck with other men, because like, don't you get bored with if you're just this super duper freaky deaky ass nigga, right? I'm not talking about your regular like I like sex type person, but like these super duper freaks, right? At some point you get bored with like just the regular vagina. Like, you have to have tried everything that there is to try within the realm of like what society deems as appropriate or acceptable. So as a result, you kind of want to venture out and explore other things. You want to see what else is, and naturally experimenting with the same sex. Even, it could start with experimentation. It can end with you just having like like, hey, I tried a little bussy. I pounded out some bussy one time, or shit, I got my bussy pounded out. I liked it, and whatever. But I also like women, and like these men could kind of shape shift, and because they like sex, they like the fuck, like so the person that they're fucking, like it could be like it kind of doesn't have to matter as long as they find you attractive and they get to validate those like carnal primal instincts. Then it's all cool. It's all fair game. And then his Mars is opposing his Black Moon Lilith in the sign of Sagittarius. And first of all, Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius can bring about a person who feels like they are above the rules. There's this sense of lawlessness that lower vibrational Sagittarian energy brings about. These people can be commitment phobes, people who tend to be very much afraid of restricting themselves to just one partner. Like, why select just one person when there are so many people out here, so many fish in the sea? Why should I have to just restrict myself to one choice? And these people can be very much hypocritical, because these could be people, once they get into relationships, they can hold their partner to a certain standard, but hold themselves to a different one. Like, yeah, bitch, you better be faithful to me, but I can do what the fuck I want to do. Be clear. And so when that's opposing his Mars, like I said, it just reinforces this thing, especially with his Mars being in Gemini. And Gemini and Sagittarius, even though they're opposite signs, they share so many of of all of the opposite signs, they're actually the two signs that are the most similar to one another. And they both carry that sense of, like I said, with Gemini, duplicity, but with Sagittarius, this disdain for restriction. And they want freedom, and they want everything to be multiplied times 10, which once again reinforces that aspect that's going on with his Jupiter and his moon, as far as him being addicted to his pleasure. So, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So, yeah, he just all around has an issue with being faithful. And this is just going to be a lifelong issue for him. This is going to be a lifelong problem. But then also something very interesting is that his Uranus, Neptune, and his Juno are all conjoined, and his North Node actually, because he's a Capricorn North Node, which makes his South Node in the sign of Cancer. So his Chiron is actually conjoined to his South Node, which further reinforces there being an issue with women, an issue with how he was nurtured, an issue in his family life, him having a very troubled, problematic family life, but then him also having very karmic ties to the women that he's dating, to where there could be a past life relationship, like for instance, Chloe. He and Chloe could have been together in a past life as, a different configuration of whether she be the husband or he be the wife or whatever the situation may be. And they kind of have a soul contract to fulfill in this lifetime, to where he's constantly going to attract women who he manipulates, and dysfunctional relationships with women that he kind of just has to play out in this lifetime, so to speak, or where maybe he was hurt and abused in the previous lifetime by a woman, and he's feels the need to pay off that karmic debt. But there's something there. There's something karmic about his situation with women, is what I'm trying to say. But anywho, with his Uranus, Neptune, and his Juno, your asteroid Juno deals with your relationships being conjoined to his North Node. Actually, in this lifetime, he's supposed to be pretty single, independent, somebody who's very I would even say lonely, like Capricorn North Node people, because I have this lunar node placement myself. So these are people who are going to constantly experience lots of turmoil in their personal relationships, because in this lifetime, your ass was put here to learn how to be independent and do for yourself and not really get too attached to other people. So, he's not really built to be just this family man. Hence why he's just conveniently left behind kids and women who's pregnant with his, with his children. But there's that. But then it also creates, like I said, with Uranus, Neptune, and Juno being conjoined, this sense of there being his relationships not being what they appear to be. This could also, especially with that Capricorn, because Capricorn, the negative energy, maybe some people don't think it's negative, but a manifestation of that Capricorn energy can be materialism, and it could represent older women. Tristan Thompson is 27. Chloe is 35. Okay. And so this could represent a man who attracts women who he wants to take care of him. This could be him attracting older women, especially that Neptune influence. So this could point towards Tristan being with Chloe for convenience, for status, so that he can kind of keep a steady paycheck, so that he can look a certain way in the public, so that he can make money and keep that cash flow right. But due to either his own emotional inability or due to the boring or monotonous of a relationship with the older person, he's going to stray. And his other configurations kind of point towards that, so that Gemini Mars and his moon Jupiter and other Aries, his Venus being conjoined to Mercury and Aries, so all of that could produce somebody who just naturally, and Gemini is the sign of youth, so despite him being attracted or entering these relationships with older women, i.e. Chloe, who is at least 5 years his senior, he's naturally still going to want to, when it's time to fuck, he's going to look to younger people. He's going to look to younger women. And if I'm not mistaken, Jordan is 20 years old. So there's that. And then with his Chiron opposing his Juno, Chiron is opposing his Uranus, Neptune. Once again, this reinforces him entering into situations with women where he prefers to be kept. But then also him there's this element of victimization that Neptune brings about. So this could be him victimizing other people, manipulating other people to his advantage. But then also him just entering into very, especially with this Uranus, unorthodox relationships. It can reinforce this kind of situations of convenience, so to speak. Especially with that Capricorn element is all about, like I said, status. These people are more prone to be in relationships that are basically like obligations. You know what I'm saying? So this could point towards Tristian not really feeling that emotionally attached to Chloe, but him viewing her literally like is slick a come up. Or even if he does care about her, it's like only to a certain extent. You know, there's this element of securing the bag first. And I will never forget, I saw this clip online. I think it was on Instagram, where Chloe was at the club and she was trying to twerk on Tristian, and his ass wasn't paying attention. And it was so embarrassing. And I thought they were playing at first, but it's like, God damn, like, girl, this nigga really don't want you. So it's really embarrassing. And then his sun is squaring his Lilith, it's squaring his Mars, which once again, it reinforces Sun square Mars. It reinforces this element of, number one, him having, there's this sibling rivalry thing that's going on there. But then also this element of just him being, more prone to cheat, just unfaithful. And then his sun squaring his black moon Lilith reinforces just him needing freedom, this need for freedom. His Chiron is also opposing his Juno, once again making him somebody he's just not a relationship oriented type of guy. He's not a family guy. Let's see what else here. Oh, Venus square Juno. I always call this the bottom bitch aspect, because Venus square Juno usually brings about somebody who, number one, attracts dysfunctional relationships, but then two, they correlate love with struggle. Like, these people are addicted to the struggle love. They want partners who are willing to stick it out and thug it out with them through the thick and thin. And more often than men, this could be them expecting to have a partner that's going to be with them, like, literally no matter what they do. Like, no matter what the fuck they do. And that could be good, bad, for better, for worse. And it's just too much, especially if you're not married. I mean, I personally don't give a fuck if you are married, bitch. You cheat on me one time, bitch, it's done. Like, I want a divorce, but that's just me. That's just Megan, personally. His moon and Saturn are squaring Pluto. And his Pluto is in the sign of Scorpio. And it reinforces him having a fucked up home life. I don't know what's going on, like what happened as a child, but this could point towards him having an invasive mother, a stage mom, somebody who, a mom who was very kind of like intrusive. But then this could also reinforce him having issues with the father. And at the very worst, this could have resulted in abuse. So he could have suffered any various forms of abuse at home. But then this could also make him very secretive. This could also create somebody who is very manipulative, which I have no problems believing him being that type of person. Like, I can see that. But then this could also make somebody who is very, very secretive. And then finally, his sun is trining his Pluto. And this aspect could produce Sun-Pluto aspects, regardless as to whether they're harsh or the, more pleasant aspects, tend to create somebody who is in close alignment with powerful people. Let's just say that. People of power, especially with him being a Pisces sun, somebody who is being controlled in a certain way. And I can't help but think about the Kardashians, what they mean as far as I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody is out here go-go motorcycle outside my window, my bad. But somebody who is very much powerful, somebody who yields a lot of influence, a lot of key stakeholders, prominent people. And these people could be, and I don't like to be all conspiratorial, like, oh, Illuminati, but these people make great scapegoats for, like, I guess you could say, what do you want to call these? Like, the top elite people of society. So this could point towards Tristian actually being the fall guy for some other shit that's taking place behind the scenes. This could point towards him being, like I said, controlled. Really not really having any control over his public image and what he, and let's be very clear, because I do think he's a thought and he has control over where he puts his dick, but I think that there's a larger system at play here. And they say the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder, honey. So I ultimately feel like he is, I don't know if I should call him a victim, but I do feel like he's bound by his connections to the Kardashians and just different people, powerful people in the industry. And there are a lot of things that we aren't going to know, especially as it pertains to this situation between he and Jordan. There are things that are being withheld. This aspect can point towards that. And things that we're just not going to know that are at play here. And then furthermore, because your son also represents your kids, finally, this can point towards him being just all around. It can go both ways. Either him being a deadbeat dad or a dad that just don't know when to quit. Being a very just annoying and intrusive father. But I don't know if he has a relationship with his first baby mama's son, or his son rather. I don't know how that's going, but hopefully he doesn't end up being a deadbeat father to either one of his children, because that would just be sad. It would be sad. But yeah, so this is all the time I'm going to spend on Tristan third trimester Thompson. All right, so y'all drop down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of this reading, okay? And as always, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until next time, I holla.